All right, now we go to video 2 of 3, Fortinet. I love that word. I don't know why. It reminds me of being a kid and playing forts and stuff. All right. Oh man, that purple indicator. I love it. Okay, so Fortinet, good base, middle of the range. You have support below and resistance above. I'm not sure there's anything to do here. If I'm long, I'm long. If I'm short, I'm short. I would buy dips. So if for some reason Fortinet falls into 48, 49, anything below 50, I do love it. Here, I mean, I could trade it, but I'm not sure. I'm not sure I'm compelled to go long unless I expect the markets to rally. This is an area of resistance. And it's a wide zone. Anything above 62, in fact, is an area of resistance. So that's how it is for Fortinet. You could get 61, 61.50 this week. I would exit if it's a short-term trade. I would definitely exit at 62.5 from a trading perspective. If you lose the candle from the earnings, I think, I don't know how low it goes. Okay. Oh, no. That's funny. What? That is not a ticker. FWONK? Liberty Media ticker is FWONK? Is this the Formula One company? Oh my God. Yeah, it rolls right off the tongue. That's reason enough for me not to trade it. Okay, good trend. Resistance above, support below. If you take out 77, you might get to 81, 82, and you have buyers all the way through 62. If you lose 61, I don't know where it goes. 57, 55, 54. Oh, man. Gain Therapeutics is not gaining. Gain Therapeutics is no bueno. I don't trade companies like that because of they have no income and it's speculation. So if you bet on it, you lost. Don't turn it into something else. Study the company. The chart is not your friend. You're not going to get any information out of the chart. Study the company's financials and fundamentals. GDX, I am bearish gold, therefore I am, and bearish the stock market, therefore I am not bullish GDX because it is stocks and it is gold stocks. Buy the dip into 31.50 would be my choice, or 30.50. Fill this weakness. Until then, so bulls need to be above this, else 32.5. Here we are at 32.9. So if we get a rally into the purple line or 35, that's resistance now. So my comments were spot on from before. So I would sell rallies because this is a potential possibility. Okay. Google. To me, this what? Okay, so treat that as your box. Breakout opportunity above here, maybe. I would not be long into 182. If it breaks out of 182, it can get to 200, of course, but I would be a buy the dip guy here. Where if it's an investment, I don't know, 156 or lower. The volume structure is wrong on all of these stocks. They have gone up too fast, too long, leaving a lot of areas, caves. Look left, you will see. If it falls a little bit below 169, it hits a cave of where there's no transactions. So slippery slope. And then it holds 156 and then loses 152, another cave. Volume. And I bet you I can repeat those comments for months. So Gemini headline right there. Apple, Gemini, whee, Google goes up 6%. Remember that? Yeah. Well, that was like just a few weeks ago. And we're miles above that. Folks, this is nosebleed territory. I don't care how much you like the company. I don't care how much AI it has. If I'm an investor for the super long term, where is the fire? Where is the fire? Why now? You've waited this long. You can't wait another tick. if you're an investor and you're buying up here, this is a monthly chart, folks. So that's a full 30 days. We have tails now. Let me switch over. Okay. The trend is still with the buyers, of course, but this just does not strike me like it's an obvious entry point. There is no .com replica of this move. There's this one. Okay, that was the 2022-2021 rally before the 2022 correction. So let's see this green line here and this line. These are moving averages. Look how far above the moving averages they were. Look how far they are now. So that's not science to say short. It just says just be careful loading up longs here, new longs. Oh, and by the way, this is a daily candle. This island candle better be taken out soon, like soon, before they come down to 170. If they come down to 170, this would have been a death knell for a drop down to 155. Okay, so be careful with your longs up here. This guy, I love the business. I just love the business. I mean, they tailor to everything a person needs. It's not just about guys. They carry stuff that women buy too, like hair replacement, energy stuff, ED, everything. So look left. Ask that person what happened to their investment last time they went long here. So I don't care how good the opportunity is. Just buy the dip. The P&L is fantastic so far. A lot of growth. Fundamentals, you can measure it, but you better look at price to sales. 6. So it's 10 times less than Adobe or whatever the hell stock that was we looked at earlier. So I like this one better than the other one, although I hate the chart. I would not go long up here. But it is a good company, buy the dip. In fact, I will put it on my to-do list to buy the dip. And if we ever crash in the market, buy the dip down here. Hood. Wow, that's an amazing recovery. Yeah, but it's not for me still. Look at this. I almost cussed. Can we cuss? Can we cuss? Okay, if you're watching at home, cover your ears. I'm going to cuss. Look at this shitty P&L. Look at it. What is so pretty about this business? Yeah, no, not for me. Not for me. If you wrote it up to here, awesome. If you're looking to go long, just buy dips because there are dips and sometimes they come out of nowhere. Great recovery, amazing recovery. You just missed the easy entry. HP, is this the Inc. company or not Inc. company? So HP, this stock is falling on the daily chart into prior base. So I don't mind people that are trying to catch the falling knife. I just want you to be careful that if you lose 30, you're going down to 20. It's almost a guarantee. You're going down below 24 if you lose 30. So don't lose 30. I would sell rallies. I think you're going to face a lot of sellers the closer you get to 36, 37. Okay. HSI, even Tom gave up on it, I heard. I remember how it fell apart because of Ozempic. Really? You should buy it because of Ozempic. People are not going to giving up eating chocolate. They're going to give up. They're going to just shoot themselves up with more Ozempic to eat chocolate. All right. There's a base at 180, 175. You don't want to lose that because then 150 comes into view. Rallies into 225, rallies into 212 and higher are going to be met with sellers. Let's zoom out. Yep, I stand by it. I don't think it's going to go back to 220 unless the management gives you a reason. P&L is pretty solid. If you come out with a great P&L, this thing can bounce and recover a lot. But it had already run a lot. So maybe this is just normal price action. You better not lose 176. You're probably going to end up losing $20 to $30 more over time. HUMA site. Again, what are you asking me? There's no income. The stock is up through the roof. The chart's not going to help you much. If you're trading 750 or higher sellers, $6 buyers. Insight. what is going on? This is another biotech? Folks, options are not great for biotechs unless you specialize in them. Because every day you can have an no jar on Sunday. Every day you could have an earnings like headline. FDA this, phase 3 trial this, phase whatever. Trading wise, look left. Every rally like this has been sold. So I would expect sellers into 66. If you get to 68, you might get to 76. Otherwise, buy the dip into the base. Intel, I thought about investing for the long term if it wasn't for the fact that the markets have never been higher. So look at the P&L dropping off like off a cliff. That is shockingly scary. Unless they were cooking something new in the C-suite, this one could be in the teens. If the market's correct, that's a big if. Imagine if let's say Wall Street corrects 10%, 15%. You don't think Intel would be at 19? And if it is at 19, it's probably at 14 in another few months after that. I like their products. I just bought 3 new machines. All of them are Intel. That was one of my demands. I will not buy an AMD machine. And they're still, the management needs to tell us why we need to love it again. As an investment, if somebody taking 20% of a full-size position, I get it. That's a shot for the future. And if it collapses down to 15, you double and you double, and you end up at a really good entry point. I mean, it's still the beast. Okay. An investment, yes. Trading could double as a trader, but starting investment on Intel, yes. Okay, JOBY, I don't know anything about it. No income. It sounds like a meme stock. Again, you need to study. The chart is not going to give you the whole story. The story from the chart is you have buyers at 448, and if you lose them, look out below. And you have a trigger above 560. Study the company. JP Morgan, if you twist my arm, I would short it. I would have shorted in the last couple of weeks. Every spike I would have shorted. In fact, I just closed my Goldman Sachs short. So look, they look the same. And on a rebound, I would short either of those two again. Let's say Goldman Sachs has a great week and JP Morgan rallies against to 204. I will try to short it again. And when I say I'm short the company, I'm never short the company. I'm short the company via limited options. Sometimes I sell a naked call, but it's usually way out in time and in a stable stock, like Boeing. And here, I could do it with JP Morgan and Goldman, but the easiest thing to do is to sell a bear call spread like the one I suggested and or buy a debit put spread. And if it's a spread and I'm buying it, I want to buy it out in time. And if it's a spread and I'm selling it, I want to sell it shorter in time. I definitely want to avoid the next earnings. KBH. Be careful. They keep telling me that there's nothing going on. Oh, no inventory and all of that. And I told you these stories do not make sense. And now the story's starting to change. Oh, we have inventory, but it's always about the commercial side. So I don't know what the exposure of KBH is on the commercial or industrial side, but I'm very confident we have a real estate problem. On what level it is and how big it is, I'm not sure. My house has never been worth more, and I'm asking why. There's no inventory. I think there is, you know, but it's just that I can't sell. If I wanted to go buy something else, I'd have to get a new home loan and get, what are home loans now, 7%? Unless I leave California, then I can buy cash somewhere else. So I guess that could happen. But this stock is winning. So buy the dip. The support is 62 or lower, 63 or lower. If you lose 58, you get to 50. If you take out 72, you might get a chance at 78. Looks like earnings are here too. Ooh, 2 days earnings. Okay, so never mind what I said. Reaction to earnings. This one too, KMX. CarMax, I think just like we have a car problem, probably bigger than a real estate problem. We spend too much money on our cars. It's insane. You go to lease a car, you go to buy a car, you can't get anything under $600 a month. You would have to look really, really, really hard. Even if you buy a cheap car, well, cheap, between $20,000 and $28,000, you still end up with a $600 payment, especially if you're buying. I know this because I tried to help somebody buy a car not too long ago, and I was shocked, absolutely shocked. So I said, you need to just buy jalopy, even if you're overpaying for it. 66, losing that gets you to 60. 60, losing that gets you to 50. That's one way to go. And I think I would sell rallies into 74 through 78. You have earnings coming up in 5 days. God knows what they say. I'm interested. Kroger, this stock used to crank. All right, so we had a huge dip and a huge rally. Wow. I mean, what the hell was this? Was it a buyout that failed? Because look at the P&L. I mean, who buys this spike like this? What could they have possibly said that warranted a 25% rally on the P&L as crappy or as flat as this? The P&L is not crappy. It's just flat. There's no growth in the P&L. Anyway, we shall see how they react in 4 days. Yeah, come collect, Cybertron, is what I say. Come collect. So this dip into 47 is buyable from a trading perspective. So if it falls on earnings, I might go there. Oh, I have a story for you to say about California taxes. Actually, it's not California taxes. Taxes altogether, the IRS. I get a certified letter from the IRS yesterday, by the way. How? Yay! On happy Saturday. But it's mild. Turned out to be nothing. It's funny that they send a certified letter for that thing that they sent me. Anyway, it's pretty funny. KRE. You better not lose the support you have here. You will end up at 42. It's not a big deal, but you would lose an edge. So then it's definitely selling rallies. So now you have a hard seller at into 49. I would exit if it pops there because it might end up at 43 or 42 in a few months. The trigger above that is if you can overcome 52. All these tickers you're giving me with earnings in a couple of days, there's nothing I can tell you now that should give you any confidence whatsoever. So Lunar could be at 132 in 2 days or 174. I have no idea. Neither do you. No one does. Not even the CEO of Lunar, and they know their P&L. I can tell you one thing. You lose 148, you're going to 130. There's no volume down there. It's just whoosh. Hey, what happened to my drawings? Do you like to see my drawings? Okay. So those are the comments on Lunar. One blink and you end up at 130, plus or minus. Lind. I know I asked one time about if this is a chocolate or not. Is it? No. 400, area of interest, 390, 400. If it dips there, that's good solid support. I wonder if 450 now is resistance. So this week, next couple weeks, you should see if they can crack into 448 or 449. I think that's tough. I think it's easier to come down to 412 first. LNTH. What are these tickers? Wow. Okay, so losing 77 would probably get you 70. Taking out 83 is difficult, but if you do, you'll get to 88. LULU, I would be long as an investment, starting point, no more than half of the position, and then I'll add the second half after a market crash. If you traded it with me, you made money a couple times. Resistance at 350. I don't know why it would take 350 out in the next, 6 months. So I would sell calls too. If I sold puts or sold calls, strangled, that's probably how I would trade Lulu. Mara. Be careful about Mara. Bitcoin needs to do something this week, next couple of weeks. It's been like this in limbo for the last couple of weeks. So I say watch crypto and watch Mara. I don't trade Mara. I trade crypto directly. If Mara has buyers through 15. If for whatever reason you lose 14, I don't know where it goes. That means Bitcoin is correcting very sharply. 23 is your trigger higher. You have sellers at 21, 22, and 23. If you take out 23, you get to 27. McDonald's, just like Lulu, good company down on a slug into support zone. I would take no more than half the position if I'm an investor. And I would look out. If they lose 245, I don't know how low they want to go. They have support at 235 and 230. And rallies into 270 are going to be sold hard. In fact, 265 or higher is going to be difficult. So I would add another resistance there. Okay, how about this candle right there? Sellers. MELI. We talked about it. It went from point A to point B, consolidated, went to point C, right? That was the target. We hit it correctly. On the way up, this was too fast. They did not consolidate. They just sliced through an area that they should have fought for a little bit harder. And now they're falling into that area. I wonder if we're going to slice through it just as much, or they're going to fight for it. So it's interesting. I think it could be 1,500. And if it is, anything below that is a good entry point. And sellers at 1675 and 1700 for MELI. Very illiquid stock to trade with options. Meta, somebody asked me that they have a debit call spread and what should they do. So I gave them, hey, ask yourself, why are you long? You're down 50%. Is this your target pain level? Those are two questions you need to answer before you say, I'm going to close it or not. And if those two questions are still good, then you go to number 3 is my position still good? So it could break out of 516. And if it does, it probably shoots for the high again, if not a little bit higher. But that is a pretty tall candle. So let's see how they handle that. I think it's easier for it to come down to 484 than 520. These white circles, look how pivotal they were. So I would buy the dip into 484. Marvel, we went long on the dip, made money. I think it's going to be difficult to break out of 75 convincingly. If you do, you're going to have a more difficult situation getting out of 79. And if you do, then you have a good reward going to 86. Otherwise, buy the dip into the zone of 65 plus or minus. Okay. Microsoft. Bye. All in. I'm all in. Mortgage a house. The cars, the dogs. Yeah, no, not for me. Great P&L. Best company on the planet. Look left. Can you see anything when you look left? I'll give you a second. You see this arrow? That was from September of last year, probably earlier. No. Look. I should do a video just on that. And that represents the whole market. This here is more of a target than a starting point for investors. So if you twist my arm, I would short Microsoft. Yes, I said it. I would short Microsoft. How? I would buy a debit put spread out months at the money. And if it rallies against me, I would sell a call spread to make up the difference. And then stop out if I lose X%. I think it's an easier short than a long, but that is shorting the market. So I find it easier to short the S&P. If this one is falling, the S&P is falling. So take your pick. If you're investing in Microsoft here, starting, I question that decision. I question the necessity to do it 100%. You can nibble. It could go 5% or 10%. If you're in it for the long term, what's the risk of missing those 5% if you can double your order in a few months? Anyway, it's not for me up there. Buy the dip in Microsoft. Micron, I challenge Micron even more. Microsoft has a good P&L now. Micron has a crappy P&L now and terrible margins. And the stock is trading like it's NVIDIA. Unless somebody knows something, and unless I'm missing something that is not in the P&L, that is not in their margin rate. So having more sales is one thing. Having more sales at a crappy margin just makes your negative numbers worse. So it's not like, anyway, I'm not going to rag on it. This here is not an obvious long. I bet you anything that this one will go down to, actually I am betting because I'm short the stock and losing, mind you, but I'm willing to see it through. It will be below 130 this year. That will be my statement. And the next earnings report, I'm waiting for it. I want to bring popcorn to see if they can deliver another 50% increase. And even then, I think they would have a 12 months shrinkage. Okay, shots fired on MU. And with that, we will end the second video of 3.